What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film breakdown, and today we are checking out Kenny Golladay, receiver for the Detroit Lions, and what this kid's been doing for the last couple of years up north has really been incredible. And taking a look at some of his stats, 2018, 70 receptions, 1,063 yards, 5 touchdowns, an average of 15 yards per reception. And then you look at his 2019 stats, 65 receptions, 1,190 yards. That's an average of 18.3 yards per reception, and of course, 11 touchdowns to go with it. This kid is absolutely unreal. And today we're going to take a look at some of the routes he's run, some of the stuff he's done on the field, and really just how good is Kenny Golladay. And I think he's pretty damn good. Now, before I dive into this video, of course, I'm talking Detroit. I'm talking Detroit sports. I got to give a massive shout out to my Detroit Sports Alliance, the DSA guys. I will link all of their channels in the description below. If you're a Detroit fan and this is the first time you're taking a look at my channel, hit that subscribe button to my channel because I do like to talk Detroit sports. However, for your day-to-day Detroit sports talk, the DSA is where you want to go. Luke G's field review, of course, I'm going to highlight him. And then one other guy, small-time YouTuber, OMG, it's Lions Talk. He's on the up and up. Dude's got football experience. I absolutely love his videos. He's starting off, and I want to give him a little pump up. I want to pump his tires. I think the guy is just a phenomenal human being, and I look forward to doing some work with him. And also, if you're a Lions fan and you want to check out some Lions content, I would highly advise to subscribe to his channel. And of course, everybody else in the DSA, you'll get to learn him. You'll get to know him. Good people up there. Very, very good quality people. Now, with that massive intro, let's go ahead and dive on in to some Kenny Golladay film. And the way I kind of broke up this video is I wanted to go, let me see his quick game, let me see his intermediate game, and let me see what he can do going deep. And really, you know, kind of how I divide up these clips is what's he doing outside the numbers, what's he doing inside the hashes and inside the numbers, and really just kind of working from there. So starting things off, I'm going to take a look at his quick game. Now, this is just something really simple, something that he can do, but something that I think the Lions take a lot of advantage of, and that's his work on just the speed out right here, right? And on this routes like this, you don't want to have that sharp break, right? You just kind of want to roll into it, right, like that, right, like he does right there. And again, something that KG brings to the table is this yards after the catch ability. Watch him as he works, rolls right into the speed out. Great job on that. Comes back to the ball a little bit, catches it, and then works upfield. I mean, the kid does a really good job of coming back to the football, and we'll see that in his curl and with that speed out that he does. We'll see it again right here against the Vikings. He's up at the top of this formation right here. You're going to give him that much space to work. He's going to take this thing and turn it into a nice little gain. A really nice safety outlet to have when you don't have a guy like Stafford and when you've got some young bucks back there. He does a really good job of that. And this is a route, moving on to this clip, this is a route that I qualify as a short game. And this is just what I would call a bang 8, right? And it's really like an extended slant. He's going to push this corner upfield, break that thing off so it looks like a post. I call this short game just because it's, you look at the quarterback's drop back, 1, 2, 3, get rid of it. So I qualify this a short game. Kenny Golladay, I think, does this better than a lot of receivers, and that's frictioning kind of at the top of routes, right? Getting that little contact right there, and then breaking that thing off on a post, right? He does a really good job creating that separation. However, not coming too flat downfield, but also still working upfield so you can gain yardage, right? And there's a couple of things that go into this as a receiver when you're trying to get that separation. You can break that thing off on like a dig, but you got to remember the route that he's running that bang 8. So he wants to keep it upfield, but he does a really good job of putting his back and his body in between the ball and that defensive back, and we'll see this a lot more throughout the film as we go. But that was a phenomenal bang 8 from Kenny G. You add that to his film, and then of course just your standard curl. And this is something that I think kind of goes unnoticed in the NFL these days, is the ability to just run your really basic hitch. Boom, right there, 5 yards upfield, turn around, get upfield, make a play. And that's really something that I think Kenny Golladay does a good job of, is, you know, obviously on those deep balls creating that separation, but when we're talking quick game, he does a really good job of making one guy miss and picking up some extra yardage. He's a safety valve for the Lions to go on when it's second and long, third and long, or just third and short. He does a really good job with all of that. Here we go again with another look at one of his curl routes. Vikings are playing off. He's going to be able to beat that every time. And, you know, once again, I remember when I was in high school, they taught receivers to catch and turn towards the sidelines. Kenny Golladay, obviously a lot more athletic than those guys were, so he does a good job of getting upfield. Kenny Golladay does a really good job with the short routes. This is one of my favorite plays from him, however, against the Eagles. He's going to run a little bit of a deeper curl. We got a 3rd and 11, I believe, with this. But what I love about about it, how he frictions at the top of his route, and this will mess with a lot of receivers, right? When he's working upfield, you got to sell this corner. You got to sell that dude that you're working upfield, or you got to create that separation yourself. Great job frictioning, and then look how he comes back to the football, man. You look at corners that pick balls like this off, and corners who can come down and make a play. That's because receivers either aren't frictioning, or they're not coming back to the football, or it's just a bad throw. But good timing on this from Stafford. We get that friction at the top. We're kind of bullying that DB. I love everything about it. Coming back, strong hands, making a play on the football. Really good job. Now taking a look at some of his intermediate routes and his ability to get off the line of scrimmage. This is a rookie. This is Byron Murphy. So he's going to give him that inside. Kenny Golladay does a good job just off the line, right? We're giving him that quick jab and head fake going to the outside, making it look like we're breaking outside. Boom, we're going to stem this thing back upfield and then work it into a dig. But once again, creating that separation. He rolls into that dig. Now sometimes coaches are really hard on, no, you got to break that thing off. He does a good job of rolling into it and then again just climbing, making space, and then doing a good job of catching through contact. He does a really, he's always going to be in contact with somebody. He's a big receiver. DBs have to play him a little bit more physical, but he does a great job of catching through that contact, being a big and physical receiver. Now this is a 3rd and 11 for the Lions against the Chargers here. Now what I love about this route from Kenny Golladay is he's going to work this thing upfield and it's going to look like they're going deep. Looks like he's trying to stretch this thing to a fade, right? Boom, head down, banging the hammer as we're working upfield, and then he's going to break this thing off on a speed out right there. That's tough to cover for a DB because as you're working upfield, right, and we'll get into Kenny Galladay's deep ball ability here, but as we're working upfield, this DB's thinking, I got to get my hips flipped, I'm going to turn upfield and we're going to run with them. Kenny breaks this thing off to a speed out, good ball from Matt Stafford. Great job getting his 2 feet in bounds on that catch. Just a little bit of what he brings to the game as far as his intermediate. Where Kenny Golladay really shines to me is his deep ball ability, and he showed that not only with Matt Stafford, but when Matt Stafford wasn't in the game, which I think is really special. Now this is a flea flicker from the Lions, and I'm sure that we all remember this game. Kenny Golladay is going to sell this thing in, making it look like he's running a crosser across the field, and then he's going to work straight up field, split 2 safeties if they were there, like if they were in cover 2. He's going to split both of those guys, but how he does it I think is really special. And as he works across the field, right, he wants that DB to friction right there. He wants that little hand placement. I want you to friction. I want you to show me that you're on top of me in this situation, right? Boom. And then we give that shoulder dip and we work upfield, but he doesn't just break it right now. He does a good job of rolling into it and finding that space because we know there's a safety. But one of the things that I think Kenny Golladay really excels at is creating that downfield separation. That's really rare. And the other thing that Kenny Golladay really brings to the table is that physicality. And this is something that's so rare to me as a receiver. What we're working here is just a little shake route. Right? If you guys have ever played Madden, that play corner strike, that's exactly what this is. Now this is a good job from the corner on this, right? Boom, we wall him off inside. He's going to try and get across our face like that. No, we can't let it happen. He's trying to friction. Kenny Galladay's a mean dude though. Watch that, breaks him right off. Does a great job fighting with his hands. No pass interference on that either. He just does a good job of working and using that DB's momentum to push him across his body. Boom, right there, and then we're going to break him off, right? We're going to bring this thing towards the sideline. We're not going to keep running upfield because this defensive back's going to be able to close on that. But we break this thing to the sideline. Now we're going to create that separation between defensive back and receiver, and we're going to give our quarterback a good lane to throw into. Now, we just carry it upfield. It's not that dramatic, but you guys understand what I'm saying. And that physicality at the top of his route, I think, is something really special. We see it again right here against the Chargers, right? We got hand play. We're fighting upfield, but it doesn't phase Kenny Golladay. He's going to work inside. He's going to create that little bit of separation, and then he's going to be able to make a play on that football. Moving on to this next play against the Chargers, this was one where offsides call, so we're just going to stretch this thing deep with KG, right? Matt Stafford's just going to take a shot, but his sideline awareness on this play is absolutely phenomenal. I can only imagine how tough this would be for a receiver, right? We don't have a ton of space to work with here. We got this DB coming in hot, no safety over the top, but really he doesn't know that. This ball is a phenomenal football, by the way. This is a great throw from Matt Stafford. But look, he looks this thing in and then does a great job getting 2 feet in at the sideline. That's next level skill. That's not stuff that every receiver can do. That is elite from Kenny Golladay. And I don't necessarily know that he's being talked about as like really an elite receiver. I don't know if some people would have him in the top 10, and in my eyes, after watching film on him, I think he's a top 10 receiver. I mean, Kenny Golladay does everything you want. His quick game's on point. His intermediate routes, his digs, his backside digs, his comebacks, everything he does, he looks really, really good doing it. And when a guy is consistently over 1,000 yards, now I know it's only been 2 seasons, but my man's averaging 15 plus yards a catch in 3 seasons of football. I mean, that's something special. And then we look at his ability to just go up and get a football like this against the Cowboys, right? This isn't with Matt Stafford. It's not like we've got an all-pro in there with us. This is with a backup. I can't remember if this is Blau or the other cat they had in, Driscoll. But we're working across the field right here. This ball is up in the air. Not a great ball. I'm not sure why he's throwing across his body like that. Probably because he was that open. But Kenny Golladay is going up and getting this football. And that's just it. That's special. It's stuff that you see from him that's just, like I said, it's just special. It's just a little bit different. Now, some of his red zone stuff here, this was just a cool play. Comes down and chips Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones has no idea what's working. He's able to catch a nice and easy touchdown there. Double-digit touchdowns for Kenny Golladay last year. And this is some of his red zone film. And again, this to me is a really, really good route from him. He's going to be at the bottom in the slot position right here. Kansas City's basically running a version of cover one. We're dropping back right here. Tyrann Mathieu is going to be on Kenny Golladay. But I think what's special about this is they're trying to bracket here. They're kind of running a type of Tampa 2, right? Because he's manned up here. We're going to bracket this receiver, that inside guy, right? That slot guy. Now, with this route that we're going to run with Kenny Golladay, he's going to break this thing in, but he does a really good job of keeping it skinny. If he breaks this route too far into the middle of the field, that ball's picked. He does a really good job of keeping that ball, that route skinny, and this is, again, a phenomenal football from Matt Stafford. It's there just on time. But that's a really good route from Kenny Golladay, and that can't be understated. Now here we go here, another red zone route from him. He's going to break this thing off to the corner. Again, that sideline awareness, friction at the top of the route, no problem. Strong hands, catch that thing, 2 feet in bounds, touchdown. Here we go again against Kansas City. Same sort of thing, right? We're trying to run a little pick play right here, trying to hit our underneath guy, but Matty Stafford decides to take Kenny Golladay because he's one-on-one. And again, just strong hands, catching through the football, getting both feet down. This dude is becoming a reliable receiver in Detroit, and he's becoming a guy who I think has just shown phenomenal ability play in and play out. Now here's really the cherry on top for Kenny Golladay, and that's his double moves. And in this Bears game really is where I saw it the most, right? He's going to run basically like a sluggo. Okay, he's going to fake that slant, break this thing off to the vertical. That corner is going to be staying on his outside, so he gives like a little swim move to get past him, right? And it is just a really good job, man. Sell that sluggo, get upfield, and then a phenomenal over-the-shoulder catch, following that thing in. He knows he's going to have a safety over the top. Really good job from Kenny Golladay. And then this other play against the Bears, long day for 20 down here at Makamura. Running this dig and go, really. And again, Kenny Golladay just did such a good job of hammering that backside dig, creating that separation when he kind of rolls into it, and then he breaks 20 off to the vertical. Good ball from our quarterback, and he's gone. So anyway, guys, that's going to be my film breakdown on Kenny Golladay. Again, I do think that he's becoming an elite receiver in the NFL. Some people will even probably say that he's elite right now. Now, with all that being said, guys, once again, I do want to plug my Detroit Sports Alliance friends, Luke G, OMG, It's Lion Talk, all of them. I'll plug all their channels in the description below. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video and hope everybody's staying safe, washing their hands. With all that being said, guys, I'm sure I'll be back soon. So until then, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.